having escaped the corruption. You know what's causing those people to starve over there in those lands? Lust and corruption. Oh, you'd upset the whole world if you started feeding those people, throw their economy off. They're getting food. Where are they getting the food from? Don't know. It just keeps multiplying. Yeah, well, you know, those lands, they can't grow anything. Why doesn't someone smite the rock? Flood their lands. Change the territory. Is there anything wrong with dreaming like this? He said we can do more than we can dream of, church. But if we're caught up in our little, I like to think at least that the church is kind of in a chrysalis. It's going through what Romans 12:2 says. Be you metamorphosed, be you changed through the renewing of your mind, to make a metamorphosis. And hopefully the church is just inside the chrysalis where it's growing and it's getting stronger. And that our children will be strong enough to break the chrysalis and to come out and to take these desires that we don't seem to have the courage to muster up the desire for, and maybe our children or our children's children will stop and say, water be, and flood the lands over there so that they can irrigate the lands and they can grow their own food. And not be ashamed to say it. Turn to Ephesians chapter 5, or chapter 4, I think it is. No, chapter 5. Listen to this in the Amplified Bible. Verse 1. Therefore, be imitators of God. Copy him and follow his example. As well-beloved children, imitate their father. Do what? We laugh at our kids when we see our kids put on mommy's high heel shoes and try to walk around and I'm stumbling and the shoes rolling over to the side. They want to be like mommy. I can remember as a child putting on my dad's shoes, clonking around in them. He's going to make me as big as he was. And every time I do this, you guys laugh at me. Now I'm going to do it again. I was, oh, don't do that again. I'm going to do it again. Watch this. I'm going to imitate God. Light? No, I changed it. He didn't do it like that. He said, light be. He didn't have to use any extra energy. He didn't have to raise his voice. Just light be. You guys see it worked again? I look around, yeah. Every time I do it, I haven't failed yet. It hasn't failed yet. I like the way Young's translation has that scripture. You know, the King James says light. He said light be, and light was. The Young's translation says God said light be, and light is. It still is. Money be, and money is. Peace be, and peace is. Why would we let Satan ruin our relationships with our spouses, with our families, with our children? And we have the power to speak. Or can we talk yet? Well, I said I was going to mention it, and I will. Turn to Hebrews chapter 4. Chapter 5, Hebrews chapter 5. Can we speak? Are we just not willing to speak, or can we speak? It says in verse 12, chapter 5, verse 12 of Hebrews says, For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a baby. A babe. But strong meat belongs to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. And I like to point out that says has the senses exercised to discern both good and evil, not good and bad. Subtle little point, but that's a big difference. So that's bad. I'm growing up because I know what's bad. It's not about bad. It's about evil. And evil is not believing that with God, all things are possible. That's evil. And if all things are possible, and you start opening your mind up to think on the level, see through reason of use of exercise, have exercised. When God created things, you notice at the end of that, he said, and everything that he created was good. Now you can discern between good and evil. Let me ask you if this is good. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. That's from Genesis chapter 1, right? Now, I ask you a question. Was the earth good? Yeah. Yes, it's good. Everything he created was good. Did the earth exist? In what form did it exist? It existed, but there was no form to it. So would you agree with me, just according to that scripture, that it is possible for things to exist